According to seasonally adjusted figures from ABS, Australia's unemployment rate has fallen to 4.3%. The consensus was 4.4%, so that's below what the market economists were expecting. When it comes to jobs growth for the month of October, around 42,000 jobs were created over that period. That's higher than the consensus of 20,000 jobs. When it comes to participation rate, which measures the number of people who are working or looking for work, and that remains the same at 67%. The Reserve Bank is expecting the jobless rate to remain below 4.5% by the end of the year. For more, I'm joined now by Blair Chapman, senior economist from job search website Seek. Blair, thanks so much for your time.
No worries.
So first off, what are your first impressions of these latest jobs figures?
It's a pretty positive month. I think, 1 month never makes a situation, and we saw the unemployment rate jump to 4.5 last month, and then it's come back down. So I think, people were right to not hang their hats on that single month of data. And, this is one of the strongest months of employment growth for a little while. We've seen relatively weak employment growth over the last few months. And, a 42,000, that's a really good month.
Yeah, the Reserve Bank's been saying that the labour market remains a little tight. And now with today's data, it looks even tighter. Does this all but dash hopes of any near-term interest rate cuts?
Yeah, I think, the RBA has been saying that full employment in Australia is an unemployment rate of around 4.5. And, with the unemployment rate coming back down to 4.3 this month, definitely is under their assessment of full employment. And with inflation having jumped recently, I think, rate cuts are off the cards for a little while.
Yeah, we saw inflation pick up to 3.2% in the September quarter. If price pressures start to climb again while the labour market remains this strong, could the RBA be forced to raise interest rates?
I think the RBA has been playing it patiently recently, and I think they're going to remain patient. They're not going to make a hiking decision off the back of one CPI print. And I think, the labour market is around full employment. It's not super tight and it's not super loose. So I think they're going to be relatively comfortable with the labour market, and they're going to be turning to their eye to inflation and hoping that comes down like they expect over the next 6 to 12 months.
And what's your read on the RBA's next move? Hold, hike or cut?
Oh, it's definitely a hold until, sometime next year when we've passed this sort of inflation boost that we've seen over the last quarter, and then they'll have to reassess. And I think it will come down to an interplay between inflation and the labour market. It's their mandate to focus on both. And, the labour market's looking pretty good at the moment, and inflation's just a little strong. So I think they're going to just be patient and wait until they see, one of the two really move in one direction or the other.
Now, your company also runs its own internal survey. What are you seeing in job ads and applications per job right now?
So it's a very competitive market when it comes to applications per ad. We're seeing record high applications. We know it's due to new applicants coming in. I think it reflects that, cost of living pressures have been tough. People have had to find second jobs, and so they're trying to boost those jobs. So really tough in the job search for competition amongst candidates. But we are seeing some job ads increasing across some industries. So construction, we're seeing growth there. We're seeing growth in community services. At the other end, there has been a little bit of a pullback in, say, government and defence. We know the government is a bit concerned about how big it's gotten, and it is, trying to prevent it from getting too much bigger and trying to control its wage bill.
And we saw that the jobs growth for the month of October was pretty strong. And where is that jobs growth coming from? Are we seeing much variation across the states and territories or industries?
So we've seen on Seek, we did see a boost in that typical seasonal hiring back in August and September, ready for Christmas. We know Black Friday starts earlier than Christmas. We're seeing that seasonal shift in employment. So there's been a lot of Christmas casuals, a lot of holiday sort of hiring in the retail space. We know retail's been a bit stronger over the last couple of national accounts reads. So that sort of retail hospitality space has been pretty strong. And then I think for quite some time, Queensland and WA had sort of been leading the way when it came to employment. And we did see New South Wales pick up after being very flat over the last year. So there's been some employment growth in New South Wales finally after very little over the last 12 months.
Now, we know recruitment processes can take time before showing up in the ABS data. So what's your outlook for the jobless rate over the next 6 months or so?
So we've seen job ads coming down over the past year from, those very high levels we saw. It's just taken so long for that sort of stress of the tightness of the labour market to play through. And job ads are sort of being broadly flat, which suggests that we should be seeing sort of around average, more typical employment over the next 6 to 12 months. What we are seeing, though, is it's very lumpy at the moment. We're seeing some small declines one month and then numbers like today's, which is twice what we might expect in a typical month.